Am I the asshole for how I responded to a woman telling me LM culturally appropriating? So last week, it was Cultural Dress-Up Day at my college. Basically, it's an event with a mock fashion platform in the main hall where students can come into college dressed in their traditional culture attire to celebrate diversity and inclusion. It was my second time coming to this event, as it's a yearly event, and both me and my friend were really excited. For this year, we thought it would be fun to dress up in each other's clothes instead of our own. FWIW. I am Chinese ethically. My friend S, who is of Indian heritage, brought a beautiful pink and silver sari with gold jewelry, and I gave her a red and gold chipao to wear with some hair adornments. We got ready at her house before college, then walked to college together. On our way, we stopped at a coffee shop, and then my friend went into the bathroom. I waited for our drinks. A group of women came in, and I could tell they were whispering about me as I could see them blatantly staring. Fair enough, I am dressed unusually. One of them comes over and asks if I am Indian. She looks Caucasian. I reply that I'm not, and she asks if I think it's okay that I'm culturally appropriating Indian culture. Now I'm surprised because to me, culture appropriation is when someone from outside of a culture dresses themselves up with an intention to mock or make fun of that culture, which I am not. I am simply appreciating said culture, as my friend is with mine. I ask her if she thinks it's okay for her as a white woman to go up to POCs in public and tell them how they're allowed to dress. She looks shocked, tuts, and rolls her eyes before going back to her friends, who all look a little embarrassed. My friend comes out of the bathroom, I hand her our drinks and tell her about our interaction on the walk to college. She thinks it's hilarious. However, another friend said that it was rude the way I responded and I was unnecessarily hostile when I could have just explained about the event and what me and my friend were doing. Am I the asshole for how I responded? Would I be the asshole if I divorce my wife because she does not want me actively involved in raising our children? My wife, 31 female, and I, 32 male, have been together since college, and we've been married for 7 years. We have 3 children together, and I am sick of either having to step back and let her raise the kids almost as a single mom or fight with her because I did something with our children, even something as simple as feeding them. But that's where I'm at. She wasn't like this when our oldest was born. It started when she was pregnant with our twins. She would always tell me to tidy or run some errands when I wanted to spend time with our child. Then she'd keep him by her side the entire day. Or she'd go off somewhere if I said we should all spend the day together and focused on our oldest. But when the twins came, it was worse. Every time I went to feed or change a baby, she was telling me to go back to bed or to run to the store for something. Whenever she caught me holding and doing anything with one of our kids, it was like I was committing a crime. When I'd ask her what the issue was, she said there was nothing, but I should just make myself useful, even if I was doing that. One time she was delayed on the phone talking to her sister, so I put our oldest to bed and got the twins fed. She freaked out and yelled at me for doing it without her. I told her it wasn't like I went off schedule and she was busy. She said that wasn't the point. Then came the fights about me trying to be with the kids instead of working or running errands. When I took time off, I would make sure I got time with the kids and she'd be ready for a fight, and if I didn't let a fight happen, she'd yell at me anyway. Whenever I didn't push through, she'd find a way to keep the kids from me. I told her it bothered me, and she said it was all in my head. Another time she accused me of trying to hog the kids even though I hadn't been home all day. She hated me baby wearing. I was screamed at for picking the kids up from her parents' house one day. She was at an appointment and I was getting out of work, so I thought it made sense. But she told me she decided to leave them with her parents, so I should respect that, and I told her I was just as capable of taking care of them as her. She was hospitalized briefly a couple of months ago, and that's when I reached the point of like this, we should divorce. I took some days off work so I could be with the kids, and she kept telling me to go back to work and let the kids stay with her parents until she got home. And she was screaming at me while she was in the hospital because I had the kids. She sent her parents to try and take them off me twice. When she recovered, I told her this couldn't continue, and if this was the way things would be, we should divorce, and she screamed and said I would be an asshole to destroy our family and break up our kids' stability. Even my own parents told me I should find a way to make it work. But she won't even sit down and talk to me. Therapy is out of the question on her part, and I don't want the kids to see us fight every time I interact with even one of them. Would I be the asshole to divorce? Am I the asshole for telling my coworker she's the reason I resigned? I, female 27, recently resigned from my university job. People assumed I did because I want a more stable job, work in government. But honestly, The real reason was a toxic coworker who used to be my close friend. I actually helped her get her job. I shared materials, teaching tips, and record-keeping techniques so she could adjust. I even went out of my way by talking to each people we work with to help her adjust. I really wanted her to succeed. A few months in, rumors started that she was an other woman of a married colleague. People warned me about her, but I defended her and stood by her even when it made me look bad. I didn't know what they were doing to be labeled as having an affair. Things changed when she snapped at me after I suggested a better way to organize her records. After that, I stopped involving myself in her tasks. From then on, she avoided her assigned office and didn't complete simple tasks I gave her, like shelf reading and reshelving. We work in a library. This year, I assigned her the semestral inventory because I was busy with an upcoming evaluation and visit. She acknowledged it in a meeting, but the semester ended and nothing was done. During summer, she used teacher's leave as an excuse not to do the semestral inventory assigned to her earlier. She said she could if she's allowed to work during teacher's leave, so she asked me to draft a letter asking her for work. Later, I found out it was so she could earn service credits. I was called by our admin and told she's not allowed to work because she's on leave. I later explained that it was a task assigned to her earlier and I only wanted her to finish it. She was also paid extra for the upcoming evaluation and visit prep, but her outputs had errors. When I asked her to correct them, she dismissed it and again cited her leave. Later, I learned she told her program head I was forcing her to work. It escalated to admin, and I felt like they believed her side more than mine. That was my breaking point. I couldn't continue working with her. I looked for other job, applied, got accepted, and recently, I resigned. Before leaving, I told her to her face that she was the reason I resigned. She looked upset, almost crying, but I honestly felt relieved finally saying it. Later, she insisted she never said I forced her, just that she asked about her workload. But considering how far things escalated, I still don't fully believe that. So, am I the asshole for telling her directly she was the reason I left? Or should I have just kept quiet and let people assume it was all about marriage and stability? I helped a friend get hired, defended her against rumors, but she neglected her tasks and later made it look like I was forcing her to work. Before resigning, I told her she was the reason I left. Am I the asshole for being that honest? Am I the asshole for not canceling our long-planned trip because my mother-in-law scheduled surgery at the same time? My husband and I have a big trip planned for 5 weeks from now. It's a once-in-a-lifetime type of vacation, 15 days on the other side of the world, over 27 hours of flights each way. We've been planning and saving for it for over 6 months. Both of us work very stressful jobs and very rarely get the chance to take any time off like this. Never did on the last 12 years. My mother-in-law, 70, has several health problems. She recently scheduled a complicated surgery for exactly the same time we'll be away. She knew we were away. We were not consulted about the timing. There's almost no other family around, and the few relatives who live about 40 minutes away either don't drive, have jobs, or simply won't help her during recovery. We don't have the option to reschedule our trip without losing a significant amount of money, and honestly, we suspect she chose these dates partly for attention or to create conflict. There were other possible dates. Now there's pressure on us to cancel and be there for her, but we feel that after all the time, money, and energy we put into this trip, and how rarely we get breaks, it's unfair to expect us to change our plans. Am I the asshole for deciding to still go on our trip? Am I the asshole for announcing my pregnancy 3 months after my brother got engaged? I, 25 female, got married in May of last year, and my husband and I wanted to start a family pretty quickly after our marriage. My brother, 28 male, proposed to his girlfriend in July. I then found out I was pregnant shortly after that and waited until October to tell my family that I was pregnant. My brother and his fiancée then accused me of stealing their spotlight, telling me that I didn't even give anyone time to celebrate their engagement before announcing my pregnancy, which is kind of hypocritical considering they got engaged 2 months after I got married even, which I truly didn't care that they did. I was happy for them. My brother's fiancé then went crazy on our whole family, saying we all treat my brother horribly by apparently not acting excited for their wedding. My brother also said I stole all the attention away when I got diagnosed with an illness young. His fiancée then proceeded to kick me out of their wedding after we had a whole conversation of her saying everything she hates about me. She told me that she didn't want my negative energy in her bridal party since I wasn't excited when they asked me to be a bridesmaid. I then told her my husband, who is my brother's best man, would be out of the wedding if I was. Edited to say that my husband and I spoke about this possibility before I had a conversation with my brother's fiancé. So am I the asshole?